Hey, second graders. Today we're going to talk about dinosaurs for a moment, and we're going to talk about nouns. We're going to talk about singular nouns, which is when you just have one person, place, or thing. We're going to talk about plural nouns when you have more than one, two or more people, places, or things. And then we're going to talk about collective nouns. Remember, a collective noun is the word for a group of people or things. So just a group of something. That would be your collective nouns. And remember, we read that poem last week about the dinosaurs where the kid was trying to figure out, what do you call a group of dinosaurs? So let's take a look at that poem and let me see if you can remember some of these collective nouns. Here's the poem. Dinosaurs are the topic I'll do my project on. I don't know what a group is called, and so I asked my mom. She said she knew a group of fish was always called a school. A group of lions is called a pride, I said. That's really cool. She said she fed a flock of sheep and saw a nest of mice. She sat among a crowd of people maybe once or twice. And dinosaurs, I asked again, but Mom just ate her lunch. I'm not so sure, my mother said. Just say there is a bunch. Did you remember all those collective nouns? Okay, what we have next is we have a chart that I want you to use today. So here on this chart, you've got your singular nouns, your plural nouns, and your collective nouns. Now here's what I want you to pay close attention to. Sometimes singular nouns are regular most of the time. And so you would take a word like lion, and when you change it to a plural, you just add an S to the end. That's the most common way to make a noun plural. Sometimes it's an ES. Now, sometimes nouns are what's called irregular, and they don't change in the regular way. Like if you have one mouse, then if you have two, you don't have mouses, you have mice. So that's an irregular plural. Another one is down here, wolf. When you change wolf to plural, you're going to drop the F and add a VES to make wolves. So that I want you to pay close attention to today. And then finally, your collective noun. Sometimes your collective noun is actually a whole new word. In fact, it looks like all of the ones here. Your collective noun is a whole new word. So when you have more than one fish, you still have fish. You have a whole bunch of fish. But when you're talking about the group, it's called a school. So you have a school of fish. If you have a whole bunch of lions, you have a pride. If you have a whole bunch of sheep, you have a flock. And notice on sheep here, sheep doesn't change at all from singular to plural. You don't say sheeps with an S on the end, it stays sheep. Deer is like that too. Deer's another one that when you see a bunch of deer in a field, it's just deer, it's not deers, right? Okay, so you're going to have this chart today linked up in your assignment because I want you to use it to do to fill in some blanks. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I made myself a pretend slide here. It says, use the chart to fill in the blanks with collective nouns. Now, what I would prefer that you do, I prefer rather than you type on these slides, I prefer that in your red reading notebook, you write these words and sentences because I want you to get the writing practice, pencil and paper. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do this and I'm going to type, but I really would rather that you write. Okay, so there were 20 players on the baseball. What do you call a group of baseball players? Let's look back at our chart here. Players, it's called a team. So there were 20 players on the baseball team. Okay. Now, Use the chart to write your own sentences. Write your own sentence using the collective noun for books. Let me go back and look at the chart. Book, books. It's called a library when you have a group of books. Okay, so let me think. What is a sentence I could write? I'm going to type mine, but you're going to write yours for a group of books, a library. Mrs. Lepping has a library filled with dinosaur books. How about that one? So you'll actually write this whole sentence down. So if it's one where you're just filling in a blank, you'll just write the word down on the line. And if it's one where you're writing your own sentence, you need to write your own complete sentence, capital letter, and a period. Okay? This is what your chart looks like that you're going to do. This is your assignment here. You're going to have 4 blanks that you need to choose the correct collective noun from your chart. And so you're going to write those in. And then you're going to use the chart to write your own sentences. Write a sentence using the collective noun for people. There is a whole bunch of people, so what is that called? Write a sentence using the collective noun for lions. Here's a whole bunch of lions. What do we call a whole bunch of lions? And then the next one is for sheep, a whole bunch of sheep. So to make sure you've got the correct collective noun, you're going to need to go back and look at your chart. Okay, and make sure that you spell those collective nouns correctly, because you will lose points if you misspell the collective noun since I've given you the chart. All right, guys, make sure you post a picture for your teacher and turn it in on Google Classroom, okay? See you later.